If you clicked on this video, then you're probably wondering how to change a baby's nappy, but don't worry, I'm going to take you step by step on how to change a baby's nappy using the NHS guidelines and some mum tips as well, because that's what's not included on the guidelines. I heard all the time that changing a baby's nappy is pretty simple and common sense until I actually went to go change a baby's nappy for the first time and didn't know which way around the tabs went. So hi, if you're new here, I'm Lottie, a first-time mum who felt completely overwhelmed by the amount of conflicting information out there, so I spent a lot of time researching, reading, and testing in real time so you don't have to. And by the end of this video, you're going to know exactly what you need, how to change a baby's nappy, how often to change a baby's nappy, and the differences between boys and girls. Obviously some mum tips sprinkled in there as well. So to start with, you're gonna want to get everything you need ready so you don't leave baby unattended. And you can do this on a changing pad or on the floor. It's really whatever you feel comfortable with, but do take into account if you have had a C-section or not as well. So what you'll need is a clean nappy, of course, a changing mat, nappy bags or bin, then barrier cream, then cotton wool and water, as this is what the NHS recommends to start with because baby skin is so sensitive. But if you prefer to use wipes, then just make sure that they are unscented. Then you might need some clean clothes as well. It just depends how bad the blowout might have been. Then a terry towel or cloth. Now I'm going to walk you through step by step on how to change a baby's nappy. So what you want to do first is get a terry towel and lie it down on the changing mat first, because when you place baby down, it can be a bit cold and this might make them cry a little bit more. So place that down, and also it can help with drying later, but I'll cover that in a second. Now, babies are prone to having blowouts, which can go all the way up their back. But on your bodysuit, sometimes it will have an almost envelope style at the top near the shoulders. This means that you can actually bring the bodysuit down instead of bringing it over their head, which is pretty good if they have done a poo all up their back. Now, step 2 is to remove the dirty nappy. Now, before you remove the dirty nappy, particularly if you have baby boys, as soon as the air hits the private parts, they're probably gonna wee. So you can get a wet wipe or a wet cloth and dab just below the belly button, and obviously keep the nappy on just to encourage them to wee into the nappy before and not into your face, basically. Now, if their private parts do stand up, it probably means that they're going to wee, so don't be alarmed if this does happen, just close the nappy. Now, once you have encouraged them to wee, if you have found that your baby has done a poo, what you can do is actually take the dirty nappy and wipe down to help remove any excess poo. This just helps save on wipes later, just makes cleanup a little bit easier. Step 3 is to clean the nappy area, and when you are cleaning their nappy area, what you want to do is actually push their knees into their chest instead of holding their feet up into the air, or you can gently roll them to the side. It just depends on your preference and how bad maybe the nappy change is. Then get your piece of cotton wool and dip it into the water, strain off any excess as you don't want it too wet. The same if you do have wipes which do have a lot of liquid on them, you can also strain this out as well. But then you want to wipe front to back to avoid any spread of bacteria, particularly if you have a girl, but this does still apply if you have a baby boy too. Now, for a baby boy, you don't want to pull any foreskin back as this is still attached, but you want to make sure that you get in and around everywhere because there are a lot of folds and creases, and similar with girls as well, there are a lot of folds, so you want to make sure that you clean everywhere. Step 4 is to dry the area, and this is where the terry towel underneath is going to be particularly helpful because you can use that towel to pat dry any moisture, but you could just leave this to the air dry if you prefer. Now, step 5 is where you might want to consider adding a nappy rash or barrier cream to the baby's nappy area, and a little tip is that if you don't want to use your hands, you can use the clean nappy to apply the ointment if you would like. And a note from my midwife is that you actually don't need to apply barrier cream at every single nappy change unless there's any redness or anything, because if you are changing them frequently enough and making sure that the area isn't wet, then they shouldn't get a nappy rash. But this is down to you if you would prefer to use a barrier cream at every single nappy change. Now, I want to include this is if you are using Sudocrem and you find that it is making the nappy rash worse, this might be because you're not drying the area enough before applying the cream, as the Sudocrem is going to lock in the moisture, which ultimately the moisture is what causes the nappy rash. So if you are finding this, just make sure that you're drying the area first before putting on the nappy cream. Now, step 6 is putting on the clean nappy. So to dispose of the dirty nappy, to make things a little bit easier, you can actually put the dirty wipes inside the nappy, fold it in half again, and then use the tabs to close it to create that parcel. It just makes cleanup a little bit easier. So dispose of that in either a nappy bag or bin, whichever you prefer. Now, which way around the nappy should go is the tabs are always at the back. So when you lay baby down, the tab should be on the back of the changing mat. Some nappies do actually come with a little text on the back to say it's the back, just makes it a little bit easier. But if not, always remember tabs at the back. Some nappies in the smaller sizes actually have umbilical cord cutouts to avoid any irritation, but if yours don't and your baby does still have an umbilical cord, you can actually fold the nappy down just below the belly button so it doesn't cause any irritation as well, if you would like. Now for baby boys, make sure that the private parts are pointing down, not to the side and not up, because they can still leak otherwise. So yeah, you want to make sure that's pointing down before you do close the nappy. And once the nappy is on, close the tabs in, and you want to make sure that any frills along the edge are pulled out, as this just prevents any further leaks happening because it catches any little small leaks that happen. So now you've changed the baby's nappy, you might be wondering, how often should you be changing your baby's nappy? So the NHS say and recommend that you want to change your baby's nappy as soon as possible, particularly with newborns because their skin is so sensitive. And one way you can tell if your baby has done a wee in their nappy is the nappy will have a line on the front which it tends to be yellow and then turns blue if it goes wet. And if you find that your baby hasn't really gone to the toilet, keep checking every few hours just in case. Particularly with younger babies, they may be waking during the night, and when you are changing your nappy, a little tip from me is to change the nappy first and then feed, because what I have found is changing the nappy tends to stimulate the baby and then feeding tends to put them to sleep. Now I've done it before where I've fed my baby, then changed his nappy, and now he's awake and mummy doesn't get any sleep. So yeah, I recommend changing the nappy first, then feeding. If you do find that your baby does a poo during the feed, which is very common by the way, what you can do then is change the nappy first, feed, but keep a little bit left in the bottle if you are formula or bottle feeding. And if you're breastfeeding, you can offer the breast again afterwards, just to help soothe them back to sleep again. Now with older babies, it's still recommended to try and change the nappy as soon as possible, particularly with a poo, but they can leave it a bit longer in comparison to a newborn. And you might find that with older babies, they are sleeping throughout the night, so you aren't changing them throughout the night. So before you put baby to bed, you can then apply barrier cream during the night to help protect their skin if it is going to be exposed for longer stretches of time with a wet or dirty nappy. And if you are finding that your baby is leaking through the night, you can actually go up a size, as it means that the nappy will have more absorbent material, so hopefully prevent less leaks. Now I've mentioned some of this already, but I do want to go through a few differences between boys and girls so there's no surprises when it comes to it. But some things to expect if you are having a baby boy is that when they are a newborn, sometimes their private parts can be swollen, and this is regardless if you have had a C-section or vaginal birth. Apparently this is due to fluid and hormones from birth. So sometimes when you are changing the baby's nappy, particularly if it is wet, sometimes their private parts do get stuck to the inside, so you do have to gently peel it off. So it's nothing that you're doing wrong, it just happens. And I did mention this before, but for a baby boy, you don't want to pull back any foreskin because it can still be attached, which can cause discomfort or harm to your newborn as well. But when you are cleaning them, they have a lot of folds. So you want to make sure that you are lifting up pieces and cleaning under everything and inside all the creases as well. You will find that it can just get everywhere. Make sure that their private parts are pointing down, not to the side or upwards, because they can still leak through the nappy if this is the case. I have found that when I've changed my baby's nappy, he's leaked through one side of the leg. Turns out that I didn't actually put it pointing downwards. Even with boys, you still want to wipe front to back. It's just good practice because boys can still get UTIs as well. Now, nappy rash is very common in babies, but baby boys can get nappy rash on the end of their private parts. So don't be alarmed. You can still apply the nappy rash cream there as well. And with baby boys, they do wee more at the front. So if you are using reusable nappies, then this is where you might want more absorbent material at the front. Now with baby girls, a lot of these are very similar. For example, they can still be born with swollen private parts, again for the same reasons as before, from hormones and fluid from birth. And newborns or baby girls can still have a mini period. So don't be surprised if you do see this in your baby girl's nappy. This is quite normal. Again, it is down from hormones from birth. As you can probably expect, there is a lot going on during childbirth and a sudden drop and change in hormones. And with baby girls, there obviously are still lots of folds, so you still want to make sure that you get inside folds to make sure that everything is clean. And I want to include this, even though this is a bit more rare, but labial fusion is a thing where the inner labia actually fuse together. And I want to include this, that even though it is rare, it's something just to be mindful of, so you are looking out at every single nappy change. Like I mentioned, it is rare, but something just to look out for at every single nappy change, just in case. And if no one's told you before, now you know. So to recap, I went through all the items that you might need for a nappy change. We went step by step on how to change a baby's nappy, how often you should change a baby's nappy, and some differences between baby boys and baby girls, So nothing is new when the time comes. But don't worry, by the end of this, you are going to be a pro at changing nappies. You got to start somewhere. So if you're a soon-to-be parent and looking for helpful tips, advice, and guidance on parenting and babies, then you're in the right place. And if you found this video helpful, I would love for you to like and subscribe and follow along.